Landscape Creations has been in business for over 20 years, and we serve the most discerning clientele throughout the region. We've earned our reputation as one of the region's top landscape contractor firms by combining craftsmanship and world-class masonry skills with top-notch management and attention to detail. It's the combination of both those things that is what differentiates us from the marketplace. So one of the more complicated projects we took on recently was up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I knew approaching this property for the first time, walking distance from Harvard, main thoroughfare leaving Harvard Square and entering out onto Sturo Drive, 1886 Queen Anne shingle-style home on the National Historic Register, that this project was going to be challenging.
On this particular project, the site was about 1/4 of an acre. And I would imagine that the building took up at least half of that between the house and the garage. Not much driveway, not much yard, and the whole purpose of it was trying to make the property feel comfortable, even though it was small, for the family to enjoy their outdoor life.
So one of the most challenging aspects of this Cambridge project was that when we were introduced to the project, there was already a general construction project going on the home. The interior, the exterior, the entire building was under construction. Dumpsters, site toilets, materials for that project was there when we showed up on scene. The start times were carefully choreographed to keep the neighbors satisfied. So while we were present at about 7 a.m. every day, we couldn't start our machinery and operate our equipment until about 7:30 every day. And that equipment needed to get through rush hour traffic and be on site to be used, because there's no place to put it the day before to have it ready that morning. So we're accustomed to being respectful of our neighbors. We're accustomed to being respectful to the property we're on. But this project in Cambridge took us to new levels. You can imagine when we needed to saw cut slabs of granite to produce the granite banding for the driveway, that there was no quiet way to do that in the heart of Cambridge. So what we wound up doing was creating a noise proof. So we did a pretty good job of creating these structures and mitigating the sound, putting them in the least populated corners of the property as best we could. And I think in the end, the neighbor appreciated the effort.
Some of the other issues were dealing with the town for the front walkway, which was a sidewalk, which had to get all replaced. And then for the driveway was radiant heat on the city of Cambridge's property. So that was a lot of corresponding with the town of Cambridge. We wanted to get the project done in a certain amount of time, but we knew we couldn't beef up the project with manpower based on parking issues that we've been having. Once a month, there's no parking on that street at all, or on that side. So those are the days that got really difficult. Huge deliveries that the contractor would have, and us having multiple areas dug up and trenches open, and people have to walk over, and right to the end when we would keep working and moving trucks would pull in and take up all the room.
So another one of the challenging aspects of this project was that the driveway was not just your typical driveway. The driveway itself was a piece of artwork, highly designed from the city sidewalk through to the back into the entry to the garage. It needed to be planned from its completion on backward to its base preparation.
We installed a trench drain, then had what we call a pump truck, but it's a trailer pump that you pour cement into, and it pumps 200 feet away. That's how the driveway got poured.
It was comprised of granite banding, granite edging, and then had pockets of chip seal interdispersed to break up the granite banding. And the entire assembly of that driveway was heated. So there was a process of building up the concrete base, laying the tubes that would heat the driveway, and then milling the material to the appropriate depth so that they married up from the granite to the asphalt to the granite again, et cetera, as the whole project was coming together. So another one of the complex aspects of this project is that stormwater runoff, particularly in urban areas, increasingly in every home project, has to be collected and sort of retained, handled properly on the site. We owned connections from the slot drains in the driveway at a couple different places, from the surface drains throughout the yard and the terrace. All of that had to be interconnected and tied back into tanks that were held underground to capture the storm water and to let it sort of dissipate naturally once it's collected. Another signature element to the project was the fence. There was a decorative fence that would run on the city sidewalk, and then there were fences that would run along the back and down the side of the property. All of these fences needed to be scrutinized and approved by the City of Cambridge, by the Historic Commission. This was a historic property. It was every bit a signature showpiece element of the property.
The fence was supposed to be a cedar material, and soon into the project, the material changed to AZAC. In order to meet the Historical Society detail, it was a challenge. The fence got changed, and in the end, it's to what they asked for, and it looks beautiful.
Because the lot size on this Cambridge project was so small, there's really only one opportunity to create living space outdoors. They created a small terrace, and the signature element in the terrace was this massive fire feature. Big monolithic blocks of stone with an impressive flame element that comes out of it that you know, against the backdrop of arborvitaes and other plantings in the vicinity. From every angle you look at this fire feature, there's a cool backdrop of either architectural interest or planting interest nestled into the small Cambridge site. And as impressive as that is, one of my favorite sort of vantage points of the whole property is when you approach the property, you've got the granite banding in the foreground, you've got the city brick sidewalk, you've got the curved fence, and then you've got the carpentry steps leading up to the house. And that vignette, especially on a rainy day when the masonry is wet and sort of, that's my favorite sort of snapshot of the property.
Some of my favorite features are the stoops, because of some of the detail on the stoops and how it accents the house. The fire feature it's in its own. It's mammoth, it's beautiful, jet mist granite. The entryway, the steppers going in, I mean, that just looks really nice going down that little area. And the driveway looks really cool too.
It's in our DNA to make sure that when we arrive to people's homes, into people's property, that we're respectful of, from how we set up and conduct ourselves doing our work to how we wrap up and clean up at the end of the day and at the end of the projects. It's an important aspect of what people ask of us. One of the things we're most proud of is our ability to collaborate with others. When we arrived on the scene, Brooks and Hill were already underway building. Gregory Lombardi's firm had already designed, and we were the newest member of this team. So we immediately needed to work together, and I think we did a really nice job bringing together a successful project.
No matter where we're working, logistics, the topography, the contractors, the people that we're involved with, architects, we have a team that provides communication, responsibility, and doing something extraordinary for every project that we're on.